What's going on, YouTube fam? Steven from the Vargas team here again with another video. This one is going to be quick, guys. A lot has been going on in the Miami real estate world, and since it's been some time that I posted my last real estate market update, I figured this would be a good time to get everyone up to speed as we're closing out the year. So today's video will be a bit more informative and valuable for those of you wondering how to navigate Miami's crazy real estate market. Valuable at least for those of you who actually care. Anyways, let's get started. In my last market update, I spoke about how insanely competitive Miami real estate is for both buyers and renters and how amazing it has been for sellers and landlords. And really, since that video, not a whole lot regarding these areas has changed since then. If anything, since that last video, things have gotten worse. As a buyer, you're still going to be expected to compete against multiple offers, and over 80% of homes sell over the list price. So yeah, expect to pay a premium for pretty much anything you're lucky enough to get into. As for my renters out there, the rental market may even be worse. My team hasn't done a whole lot of rentals this year as sellers and buyers has kept us quite busy. But for the rentals that we did handle, we noticed that 6 months to a year's worth of rent paid in advance is becoming more common. And that's a big and drastic change from the traditional 3 months you could get away with back in 2020. So what's causing this pent up demand and chaos in the market? Well, let's take a closer look at the numbers. For starters, inventory for single family homes in the Miami area hover at around 2 months, and condominiums have finally dipped into a seller's market at around 5 months worth of inventory. Remember in my last video, I mentioned how anything below 6 months worth of inventory is a seller's market and anything over 7 months is a buyer's market. Well, by the looks of these numbers, we're still very much in a seller's market, but that's not all. Overall, home prices have also increased as well at over 25% from just a year ago. And the average home price today in 2021 is $500,000, up from 2020's $380,000. What's even more impressive is that Q2 set a record for most homes sold in a single quarter than ever before. So yeah, the market is still pretty red hot. However, many buyers are hopeful that this frenzy won't last forever and that a decrease in demand and increase in listing will cool down the market. And theoretically, it will. And it could possibly get us into that neutral 6 month to 7 month territory that we all want to be in. But unfortunately, future projections indicate the contrary. And what it seems is going to happen is that the seller's market is going to have a tight hold on us for the foreseeable future. As I mentioned in my previous video, this is mainly due to the migration of new residents from high income states, making Florida and Miami, more specifically, one of the top destinations for movers in the US. You couple this with pent up demand from the local buyer and lower interest rates, and you start to see the pattern how this will have a foothold in the market for some time to come. Another factor which is expected to prop up the Miami real estate market in the future is the fact that 2/3 of residents in the Miami area rent instead of own. And when you compare that to the rest of the US, where 2/3 of Americans own instead of rent, you start to realize that the second any new inventory hits the market, soon to be home buyers will swoop in and grab anything they possibly can as fast as they possibly can, especially when you consider that the average monthly rental rate in Miami is now around $2,400, which of course is comparable to the monthly mortgage payment for an average price home. So to summarize, it's just too much demand out there with very little inventory hitting the market. Now, with all of that being said, the market has still seen some changes. Sale transactions, for example, are slightly lower than the record rates we were all seeing just a few months back, and sellers do seem more comfortable placing the property on the market now, leading to some relief. But even with all that, we're still a very long way from a buyer's market anytime soon, at least. Developers still need to catch up with the supply. And the reality is that developers over the last few years have been developing Miami's more high-end luxury market, and they've been centered on that with good reason. But they have not been developing more affordable medium-priced properties, which is where everyone is fighting for. So what many experts believe will likely happen, or what's probably already happening now, is that we're going to see a correction in the market, whereby prices start to flatten until supply catches up. But as it stands now, demand far outweighs supply. But until that correction fully takes place and the market is in a more neutral territory, you as a buyer are going to need to get more creative to get your offer accepted, which of course means be prepared to offer more shortened time windows for financing and closing deadlines, little to no inspection period, and offer, of course, above list in many cases. And of course, have all of your documentation ready, which means your proof of funds for my cash buyers out there and your pre-approval and DU letter in some cases for my financing buyers. As I mentioned earlier, the Miami rental real estate market is pretty much at a standstill, mostly due to low inventory. And what's happening is that it's basically a bottleneck out there. A lot of demand and no inventory, which essentially causes the market to stop in its tracks. So my best advice to you renters out there looking to secure a property in this crazy market is to have all your documents ready as well. So that means have your identification, your pay stubs, your bank statements, your employment letters, your credit reports, etc. And be willing to pay 6 months of rent up front, if not a full year if possible. Now, all of that may sound insane, and that's partly because, well, it is insane. You're pretty much coming up with the same amount of money as some buyers are for a down payment without any of the benefits of owning real estate. But that is what you're going to have to do, and that is what you're up against if you want any shot of getting your offer accepted. And while you are waiting to get your offer accepted, make sure to check out some of my property tour videos to have a better idea of the type of real estate you can find for both buying and renting here in the Miami area. And if you found this content valuable, make sure you show your support by liking this video by simply clicking on that thumbs up button, and stick around for more Miami real estate content by subscribing to the channel and clicking that notification bell as I drop a new video each and every single week. As always, thank you guys for tuning in and making it this far, and I will see you all next week. God bless.